Welcome back to Channels Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, from our studios here in London. Now, breakfast with FTSE 100 CEOs, lunch with wealthy mentors, and a 5-course dinner with a group of your success network. For some members of SPAC Nation, that's what your daily itinerary looks like. The growing popularity of the inner city London church has caused quite a stir, and there's no denying that the well-heeled congregation have flipped the script on the prosperity gospel. I'm joined in the studio by Pastor Toby Adegboyega, the lead pastor of Salvation Proclaimers Anointed Church, otherwise known as SPAC Nation. Pastor Toby, thank you for joining me. I'm very privileged because I know that you've got a very busy schedule.
No, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And
so
your show
much.
has always been wonderful, very inspiring.
Thank you very much. You're inspiring, Pastor Toby. And listen, I've been to some of these breakfast meetings that some of your members have had, and they've absolutely blown my mind. I suppose the exponential growth that your church has had over the past couple of years is self-explanatory. But can you explain how your leadership has captured the heart and soul of young men and women in Britain?
I was a kitchen porter 14 years ago when I left Nigeria to come to the UK. The plan was never to start a church. I had no interest in church and stuff like that, even though I'm a pastor's son and stuff like that. I thought I was on my way to the United States. Fast forward 14 years after, SPAC Nation is what it is now. And I think what has happened is I located the problem. I realized that there's a whole generation, both in Nigeria and in UK, that is being left aside and sometimes labeled as lazy or criminalized in this system, young black people with a very sharp mind. So I started to locate these guys, and I identified poverty as the main problem. Poverty, not of money. Money is even on the list, on the lower echelon. Ideas, opportunities.
A poverty mentality.
Poverty mentality. So I located that and I began to seek ways. How can I solve this? Because I know that if I'm able to tackle that, I will be able to solve the crime problem. So I gained the trust of many of these young people by sacrificing for them, living the life for them. I was earning £400 a month, and I was given 270 to the community in Peckham then, and then gained their trust, and we started to grow from there, from 3 people to whatever numbers we are now.
Thousands.
Thousands.
Thousands
possibly.
of people. What is it about SPAC Nation? You know, all you have to do is put it in the Google. You've got hundreds of stories on Instagram, on social media. Most of them are positive, of course, because it's undeniable. And anybody that's encountered your church, it is undeniable the success of your congregation. But I would say most of the media attention is, I would say, has been shrouded with the pasts of some of your congregation members, because they have been honest. And you do find, you know, you're in church, you're always asking for a testimony. There's like, come on, give us your testimony. Most people are really scared. They don't want to give their real testimony because they'll be like, are you going to sit next to me next Sunday if you know what I really did? But you guys have been honest, but you kind of been crucified by that.
And that's fine. Crucifixion is fine. It leads to life, isn't it? But on a serious note, I don't get into the media. I don't read what people have to say because I read the stories of the lives in front of me. We've created over 40 businesses in this number of years. We've helped hundreds of young people, not just to be entrepreneurs, because that entrepreneurship is my first call. Number 2 is for them to get opportunities. I wanted to force, in quote, our way through to corporates and big organizations, and they were not listening to us. As church, it's faith-based organization, so we had to create something that they cannot deny, and we've done that. I'm constantly with the Scotland Yard, and for the first time, Scotland Yard brought businesses together to say, look, we don't have anything to offer, but there is this man or this church, they can tell you what to do with them. We needed to force our way through into that. We needed to let young people see that there is a different life apart from mediocrity or crime. And so what media say is very secondary. because this is
Yes.
dealing with life. I'm not an actor, a musician. Musician, they can worry about all that. But for me, it's a matter of life or death. And because of that, we've stayed motivated to keep changing these lives and change the narrative for Black people all over the world.
Some people are not comfortable with the prosperity gospel. How does your building up of entrepreneurs and developing links to the city, how does it differ from the prosperity gospel?
Well, the gospel is good news. So the pastors you've mentioned, I don't know much of them. I've stayed away from the church world completely, even though we are a church. But you can imagine our kind of congregation is very different. They don't know most of these names and stuff like that. So the prosperity gospel, whatever that means, I've never, if it means money or people having money or material stuff, I've never preached that. What we've preached is Christ, of course. What we've preached is empowering our community. What has given me one of the greatest concern is how 10 churches, 15 churches can be in one area, or sometimes in one building. And the building or the streets don't even know they are there, apart from the noise that we can make sometimes. Impact is what the gospel is to me. And then poverty is number one problem in the world. And so the people who are on the street, the people who walk, the people who labor, they are not different from the people in the church. I want my kids to prosper, and therefore I must bring solutions. So it's not about give your money and then you will be rich. No, it's about we all contribute and we create a community. We create micro businesses, microeconomy that will therefore empower us and empower our parents and empower our whole community. That's prosperity for me.
Talk to us about this £100,000 giveaway initiative. How can we get some of that cash?
We do what we call Entrepreneurial Sunday. We started about 2-3 years ago, thereabout, and that is to locate businesses in our community, people who are doing well or trying to do well. The last one was supposed to be 100,000. Usually we then give more than that. But then I realized a young man was there, has a lot of young guys, and what came to my mind, and I put that to the whole church, is this is about 500 kids, more than that, who need to get into finance. They are from our community. Our parents are struggling. Most of these parents do 4-5 jobs here and forget about the kids. But if I can get them to top league universities through that 100,000 or financial courses and stuff like that, crime reduces and people are blessed. So people who are doing good things like yourself in our community, that's what we raise money for. That's what we stand for. That's prosperity again.
That's prosperity. And how is it going? Where do you see SPAC Nation? You said you don't worry about the media, but of course, in a way, the media need to know about the amazing things that you're doing. Where do you see the growth of SPAC Nation?
Oh, yeah, we're going to build the best entrepreneurial school in the world. People will be able to come from Nigeria, from Ghana, free, and they will learn there. We're going to build, like the media has been showing us safe houses and all that. We're going to build what we call Trap City, Safe City for young people. They will learn everything. We call them life centers as well. That's where we're going, and we're getting there gradually. And the ultimate is we want to tackle poverty and reduce it to the barest minimum.
And crime.
And crime. When you tackle poverty, you deal a lot with crime. And that's what we've realized. That's what the police in London have realized as well, that when SPAC Nation gets to an area, crime reduces there. And they ask me, how do you do it? What happened? So because I'm providing jobs for them and opportunities and hope. And once we're able to do that, the same formula will work in Nigeria. It will work everywhere. Once we're able to do that, what happens is I would feel like I've done. I will feel like I've raised the next generation of leaders. So we want the next generation not to look at a black guy on the street and think, only God knows what he's doing. No, they must know if he's one of those SPAC Nation people, he is doing well, and generally. Well,
we need to get you in the studio with the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, next time. Pastor Toby, thank you so much for joining us on Channels Business Global. Well, sadly, that's all we have time for today, but do join us again at the same time next week for more in-depth business analysis on Channels Business Global. Goodbye.